By
of
the,
this unemployment insurance.
right, right.
That is not good news because both matters are two different things. But we do know those who practice in the area of employment and employment practices and law know that many employers wish the redundancy payment aspect of employment to be removed because of financial reasons.
Right.
But the two are different
Hmm.
and must not be confused, nor the concept or planning or thought processes be that one can replace the other.
But we have decided yet who will contribute with it and what
Well,
ratio
we
will have
don't,
to
this is
contribute.
it, we don't have the details. But this is why I say the thinking, the announcement is something positive. But until we know the entire policy and how the law will look,
I
then we can't get too excited as yet. And there is some amount of concern and apprehension if one of the side effects, deliberate or unintentional, is to adversely affect redundancy payments that has been useful and helpful to workers.
no, but guess what? We seem to be confusing it because while one payment is what it is saying that you work for a certain amount of time and you have contributed to the growth of that country, that company you're leaving, therefore you're getting that as your little goodbye package. Now, if you're unemployed for a certain time, you'd get your little money. You'd not necessarily qualify. You'd get a redundancy. Redundancy would only come into being to play when you have left the organization over an extended period. Am I correct?
Yes. So there must be no confusion about it.
Right.
Let us look at the reason for redundancy. What we are saying is that that element of production called the employee or worker or labor
Yes.
is a very important component of production in any system in any country.
Yes.
It is of equal importance as capital, land, enterprise,
Yes.
or management. And therefore, over the decades, that has now been recognized in society by trade unions, by employers, and by the law.
Hmm.
No longer can you treat a worker any and any how you wish because it is your place of business, it is your investment, your brain, and all sorts of things that used to come up in the mind of the employer.
Right.
The law is now saying in the clearest of language, and the law is the law, that workers and their input must be valued and must not be taken lightly.
Yes.
And if for some good reason there's going to be a separation, a disengagement, the
Hmm.
workers' value to that business must be recognized and yes, and awarded accordingly. So, are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm here, but I hear this
Ra-
funny sound like a thumping sound, but
Yes, I heard it too.
yeah.
So, there is an element of recognition
Yes.
of the value and importance of the worker and his input in a business. And
Hmm.
in our law presently that came into being from the 1970s is that after you have worked, say, 2 years, you should be recognized as having made some input
Right.
in the business of value. And therefore, if the business is ending total shutdown, you should be given something of value.
Hmm.
Money, not a handshake, and I wish you well only, but something monetary of value. And if your job function is no longer needed, and therefore you are being displaced, having regard to the fact of your value and contribution to the business,
Mm-hmm.
you should be getting some monetary compensation there. Or if you're on the job and you suffer injury or a disease arising from the job situation, not from home or somewhere else, but from the job, and you cannot work anymore, and there has to be a disengagement from the employment, then you should be given some monetary recognition and compensation. And if you are laid off for a long time, say 120 days, and you're not told that you can come back into the employment, then you can opt to be treated as being redundant. So that
Right.
is recognizing the worker and giving some measure of protection and motivation to the
You
worker.
know what crossed my mind? If we're mixing
Hmm.
up unemployment payment with redundancy payment, um, we might mix it up with other things too, you know. I'm very, very concerned that it must be made very clear that your redundancy payment is separate and apart, is a different thing from unemployment insurance.
Yeah, it is. It is. But as I